Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox Garage video. I'm Rob and today we should be attempting to take this little field car from shabby to shiny. This one was in the unboxing again with well, from our friend Tony, so thanks again to Tony. And yeah, I was kind of going through the little pile of cars, and initially I thought, well, there's nothing I can really do with this field car because I'm missing the roof. And I'd actually recently been watching, I don't know if you know, the Dave Kindig from Kindig Designs, you know, all on the Discovery Channel, and he had a similar kind of truck, albeit I think it was a Ford, but he cut the roof off. So I just thought, well, you know, I'll use that inspiration for this little car today. And I also like to lower it a little bit, like I did on the previous Mercedes video. So, yeah, this is a custom. It's certainly no restoration today, and hopefully you guys still enjoy it. But we'll start by drilling down the centre of the posts. There's two on this car. Removing those flanges and tapping both holes. Please do remember to lubricate the end of your piece. You do not want to snap it. But yeah, these parts and more down in the description below, you'll see the Amazon links to what I use and what I'd recommend to get. But yeah, as you can see, it was kind of leaning over to one side in the initial turning around shot. But yeah, a bit of a broken kind of a suspension piece. But certainly we're missing the plastic roof, and I have actually restored one of these before, and I had the roof still intact, so that was fine. So I didn't mind kind of changing it up today and cutting this off. But indeed it does read underneath, as I grab the real thing, Matchbox Series number 18 field car from 1969. So yeah, very old one, this one. But yeah, some of the you know, pushing those wheels deep into the wheel wells, it kind of confirmed that there was plenty of room, and similar to this Mercedes that I had recently done and enjoyed very much. But yeah, I think these off-road trucks, what would you say, 1%? Well, in the UK at least, 1% of them actually go off-road. I think most off-road vehicles, SUVs, 4x4s, just tend to do the school run over here. But yeah, just popping off the base there. This is two rivets on the back and the actual grille section there, kind of holding the front end in. Reaching for a screwdriver to pop out these original wheels. These will be going into the parts bin, and yeah, some replacement green light wheels for today. I tried a few different sets, and eventually I settled for a set that I'd been struggling to use elsewhere, so you know, they kind of found their way onto this one today. And as you can see, that rear tab there broken, just needs a little bit of super glue. So yeah, the wheel's going into the parts bin, and tidy up a little bit as I go along. The basic interior here. To be honest, I was thinking about painting it, but again, similar to the Mercedes, I thought perhaps we'll come up with a colour that looks good with this original cream or off-white colour. But because I'm going with a low vehicle, this one, it won't be a tow vehicle anymore. So I'm trying to take off the tow hook, which unfortunately is just out of frame. But it was been a bit of a pain, as you can see. A bit fiddly. It's on the end of a piece that I want to keep intact, because the piece basically holds the back end of the interior up inside the casting. So putting it all back together, I just wanted to make sure I'd cut enough off and indeed I had. But yeah, the tab there, you may have just seen through that kind of empty rear wheel arch where the tab comes down, and it just pushes against the base, which keeps it up. So yeah, just showing there. I was thinking about cutting it off, but we'll keep that in place. I'll keep the actual tow hook. You never know if and when I may need it. It may find its way on another casting in the future. But yeah, I'm going to grab my Dremel and change out the bit there, and we'll start by taking off the rear. And I've left myself a little bit of meat on the bottom there for me to sand down, be a bit more safer than trying to drill too close. The casting really does get hot. So yeah, kind of pulling my thumb away there from the heat. But I'll save you from going through the front as well. But I'll cut the remaining off and tidy it all up. I've also just lifted that front bar, because on the original where it has the roof, it kind of dips down a bit. But I've straightened it out, cleaned that all up there, and yeah, looking pretty good in my opinion. But I'll pop it into the, this is not the foot-long hot dog jar. If you'll remember, I've done a couple of experimental videos. This is one of the smaller, half-foot-long. Although looking at it, I'm sure that's bigger than 6 inches. I hope it is anyway. But yeah, dropping the caustic soda solution there. See if we can clean up the spoon whilst we're at it. Give a little swishy swish. And then grab a little close up. See the caustic solution there doing its magic. So leaving that to one side, we'll clean up just the interior. You know, I was still at this stage 50-50. Do I paint it? Do I leave it? But I thought, no, we'll keep it in the cream for today. I mean, looking at the final article, it could have quite easily have been in the black as well. But I don't know, I just think the cream interior just adds a bit of an extra something to it. I normally skip this kind of part of the video, but leaving it in today, why not? Using a toothbrush. I actually prefer using a paintbrush. I think the longer bristles you can kind of get in and out, but I just need to go and grab another one from the old shed, bring it up, because I used to use it, if you remember, until perhaps a few months ago. But then I used it for a bit of painting in the actual room, and yeah, after cleaning it went back down the shed. But anyway, I'll grab another one shortly. But looking good, looking clean, and yeah, we'll keep that in its original state. Clean up as we go. So we'll turn to the base now. Just give it a little buff up, a little bit of a polish. You know, this is potentially over 50 years old, this casting. I don't think it is because of the wheel type, but it's probably 40 years old, and any kind of crust or crud that was on this base here I've now flicked off into my room or into my face. Just going over it. It's not in bad conditions, but so just a little light going over the whole thing. And it does bring back a little bit of shine there. So I will grab the glue to repair this and some Nuln oil to start detailing out that front end. I use a lot of toothpicks or cocktail sticks throughout this process of restoring or modifying die-cast cars. I would certainly recommend you buying a pot of them. Different castings, I may not even use one, but I would say that majority of the time I do. And there are cases, especially if I'm detailing rear lights as an example, with different colours, with the brake lights, the amber indicators, the white on the reverse. You know, I might use a clean kind of toothpick for every little bit. So, you know, I might use 6 just in the rear lights of a car. So sometimes you can really get through them, but they're only cheap, of course. You know, I could probably use the other end or clean it off and reuse it, but I just find that sometimes a little bit gets on your hand, and a tiny dot on your hand can have, once you're holding a casting, can get all over it, trust me. I've experienced it a few times, so best off just using a clean one every little time. Trying to grab a little bit of the Nuln oil here. I've had this little pot for probably almost 2 years, and I'm certainly coming towards the end of it now, and I use it regularly. I don't use it on every casting, but probably at least half, I would say. It'd be another thing that I would recommend. But yeah, I need to grab myself another pot. Unfortunately, the camera here is not focusing on the right thing. I've been doing a little bit of research about the because I use a Huawei P30 Pro, and there are some aftermarket kind of camcorder apps. Some of them are free, some of them are really expensive, but when I do some of the research, they all seem to kind of lead back to the same thing, you know, that ultimately it's how you as the user position your piece, and you know, what you put into it will ultimately affect the result. But yeah, we've eventually just done the grille there, and I think you'll agree that looks pretty good, and that'll dry out, and I'll add a few more details on the front end there off camera, save you watching it for the whole thing. You know, I'm sure you got other things to get doing today, but yeah, as you can see, we didn't reach 100% paint removal. We're probably in the early 90s, 90.8635%. And actually, it took me quite a while to get the rest of this paint off just by using the Dremel here. Probably would have been a lot faster had I just gone with a second round of caustic soda, but hey, I had time, so it's not a problem. But there's the bonnet there, and we'll make it look like that all over. And then we'll turn to the black primer here. I've managed to get hold of another primer which I'm waiting for in the post, but it's from a different brand, not the Vallejo that I prefer, but you know, pricing just seems to have gone through the roof, and I just can't you know, pay the UK prices. I can get it much cheaper on the continent, but then no one on the continent wants to send anything to the UK at the moment, or anymore. And even if they did, I think I'd be stung with kind of taxes and duty charges anyway. So yeah, the old Brexit thing is making life a little bit more difficult, a little bit more expensive, but there we go. But yeah, the prime there looking good, and that will dry lovely, as you can now see. Now, paint wise, colour wise, I didn't really know what colour to go with, so I dumped a few colours. As you can see, there's red, there's blue, there's yellow, and I also put a little bit of silver and mixed it up, and this is what we come out with. It's kind of like a silvery gold, and against the interior I thought it looks perfect. And I just thought, you know, with black as well, in the wheels and the tyre on the rear, I thought it was a nice little contrast. I must admit, my airbrush seems to have a little bit of a blockage in it, so it's not really coming out too much. So it took a little while to paint, so I'll have to probably tear that down shortly and give it a good clean out. I only did it a little while ago, and I really need to do it. I could go months without cleaning it out and it's perfect, but yeah, perhaps a recent paint job has blocked it up. Do you know what I think it might be? The candy. I think the candy paints just do block it up. But I like the candy paint, so you know, you've got to live with it. But yeah, there's the first very light coat, and we'll go with a few coats. And eventually, the following day, we could see the interior there nice and clean and dry. I've painted that rear end part, was kind of like almost like a parcel shelf. And then you got the car here with some clear coat, some added little details there you'll see shortly. Plus, of course, that tyre on the rear. The base, oh, yeah, the wheel was trying to rush away. Some further details added there. You can see that nice and up close on the carousel shortly. I wanted to lower this somewhat, so we've got some tubes. If only my camera will focus. There you go, just above where the original axles would sit. And then the wheel choice itself, like I say, it's a green light wheel. And yeah, I think look really good, nice size for this casting. But this is a reminder of what she looked like. And this is the result. I think you can really see straight away how much that has dropped. But some lovely detail around the front there. You can see that number plate quite clearly. A nice shiny paint job on this one. You got the roof now gone. Those wheels sitting nice and low, but still plenty of you know, day-to-day space underneath to drive this car, you know. I found a spare wheel off of another casting, or a spare tyre rather. Some details in those rear lights and rear number plate there. A little bit of chrome on all the handles. But I think it's a sweet little field car. Probably no longer good enough for the field, just for the roads. But hey, I won't mind driving this around to work. Hopefully you guys like it too. But anyway, big thanks again to my amazing patrons. Thanks again to Tony for the unboxing that this car come from. And I hope you all like it. Hope you all comment, like, subscribe. And I'll see you soon on the next video.